Hey, this is Ironic Icon from First and Fight. This is my second tutorial for King from Tekken Tag 2. It's going to be pretty similar to the one that I did with Miguel, which will include pokes, punishment, basic gameplay, throws, while standing game, and that sort of thing. So I'm hoping this will help out a few King players that have questions on some stuff, and it should be pretty informative and detailed, so hope you enjoy, and happy gaming. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about with King in Tekken Tag 2 is the overall gameplay, strategies, changes, and addition. King has been around since the original Tekken in one form or another, and anybody who has used him or played against him knows that one of his biggest weapons is his throws. He has the best throws in the game, bar none. He can throw you with just about anything. From just his regular throws of the giant swing, the Muscle Buster, the Giant Swing 2, Tombstone Pile Driver, yada 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 yada. He's a professional wrestler. He will drop you on your head. Along with being the best thrower in the game, he's one of the best punishers. He got a really strong punishing game. His jabs of 2-1 and 1-2 are some of the highest damage. They both do 29 on successful hit. He's a good punisher, best thrower. He also has, for offensively, when you're really trying to initiate the offense, he has a really good while standing game when you include his throws. When you include things like while standing +4, even some of his multi-throws come into play if you can really get good at his crouch dash. Even some of his wave dash stuff, which isn't the easiest to get down. But he has an excellent while standing full crouch game. In my opinion, King is best played defensively, punishing, sidestepping, and trying to get a whiff punish it for something like up forward +4. He's not a real good offensive type character. He just doesn't have a lot of pressure tools outside of a few moves. So I would play him defensively, and then when you do go in the offense, use some of his lower frame pokes along with his while standing games, because his while standing game has a lot of good range as well. Some of King's weakness, he has still really crappy lows. His best lows are, his best low and really his only real useful low that you can really use a lot is a generic Don 4, which does about 9 points on damage. That's still his weakness and probably always will be. Another weakness of his, like I mentioned, was he has very few pressure tools. So you're essentially going to be throwing out a move or a throw. If it's blocked, your best option 99%, not 99%, but 9 out of 10 times is going to retreat, block, sidestep, defend. He just isn't a pressure character. And one other weakness that I want not only people who use King, but also people who have problems against King, is when you are trying to sidestep King, he's extremely weak to his left, so you generally want to sidestep right. A lot of his strings are sidesteppable that way. So keep that in mind. You play him, you want to step him to his right. If you play King, you want to keep in mind that you're weak to your left, so you're going to want to throw out moves that track that way probably more often if you're playing a good player and understands that. Some of the changes from Tekken 6, let me change this real quick. Some of the changes from Tekken 6 to Tekken Tag 2, he's pretty much unchanged. I mean, he has a few minor changes to his game, but he's largely unchanged. The one change that I can think of offhand that affects his gameplay somewhat is while standing 2. This is a homing move, and it's a pretty decent addition. In Tekken 6, this was just a counter hit launcher that was punishable and block. It wasn't much of anything, pretty much a wasted move. This basically makes you not be able to sidewalk some of his. It makes you can't sidewalk him when he crouches anymore because he has this move, which is pretty good. One other addition, another change. Let me change the action here. A lot of his combos now you have to add a jab. Most people probably know this who have used him, but for people who are just picking them up, here's an example. This is his Tekken 6 combo. Clearly it whiffs now. The reason being you have to add a jab right here for the combo to hit. Doesn't really change him much unless you're a solo King player. It makes his whatever you want to call it, his power bomb, his Shining Wizard Ender, a little bit more difficult to hit. It's a little more, you got to be more exact in the frames, but it doesn't really affect King and whoever teams any. It doesn't affect that at all. It's basically solos where you got to be a little bit tighter with that move. And also his Ender, which is you know, forward 2+4, which is the sit down powerbomb move he has. That was nerfed. It used to do 30 damage and now it does 18. The reason it was nerfed is basically to kind of keep the tag combos everybody within a certain range, because if he had that at 30 still, he'd be the highest damaging character. So they nerfed that from 30 to 18. Not a big deal. It'll probably go back to 30 Tekken 7, but that's one change. And one other change that I can think of that I'm going to talk more about later on are two of his low combo starters, which is down back 3 on a counter hit and full crouch down forward +1. It's easier to combo off of those, and I'll explain those later. Down forward, you can get full combos off of both of them. It was pretty difficult in Tekken Tag, or in Tekken 6 to get a full combo of down back +3. Now it's not that difficult, but I'll talk more about that later. But that's one change that I want you to be aware of. Also, if you're a long-time King player. The next thing I'm going to talk about with King are what I kind of think are his best ranges. King's kind of a unique character because his throws are so good, and you generally need to be in people's face to throw them, but that's a crappy range unless you're trying to throw with him. This isn't a real good range for him. Right around jab range is a decent range, because most of his throws will still reach, but some of the more powerful throws, Tombstone, Giant Swing 2, which is, you know, the Giant Swing animation, but on the 2, which is this. Which is that move. I don't know what it's called. Yeah, that needs to be close. So this is a bad range for him. Really, for a lot of characters, it's a bad range, but for him in particular, he doesn't have real good pokes for frames and recovery. So you don't want to be in here unless you're really trying to throw. This isn't a bad range where his jab reaches. You can still hit him with his more powerful throws. Giant Swing 1 will hit. I'm trying to think. Let's see. His Tomahawk, which is the Shining Wizard throw, you can do that from anywhere, and that's why that's his best throw. You can do that from any range, anywhere. But 0 and 1 are so-so ranges with him unless you're trying to throw. So you don't want to be in these ranges unless you are trying to throw. Good ranges for him are further out, around range, what I'm going to say 2, which is a little bit further, and then range 3. Like in here, he's pretty decent because back 1 reaches, forward +4 reaches, which is a good poke. So generally speaking, unless you're going to throw with him, you don't want to be anywhere in this area. Because he's not real good. You want to be, you know, somewhere from about here out. And one other thing to keep in mind, why I think ranges 2 and 3 is the best range when you're not throwing, is his crouch game can reach from a really great distance, and you'll be doing stuff like that a lot once you get used to playing him like that. But basically, you want to stay out of 0 and 1, and you want to be further out in ranges 2 and 3. Unless you're trying to throw with him. So the next part I'm going to talk about are what I think are his important pokes and his punishment. King is probably, I use about 12 guys, and I'd say I'd probably use 4 pretty decently. King is really, 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 really easy to punish with. You basically need to know 3 moves. One of his jab strings, back 1 plus 2, and his hop kick. And that pretty much punishes everything. So what I'm going to talk about is his pokes and some of his punishment mixed in there. Pokes. Single jab like everybody else. 1-2-1 and 2-1. They are both about -1 on block. This is also going to be used as your punishment, and it does. They both do 29 on damage, which is some of the highest damage. You'll be using these a lot, just like you do with most characters. Single jabs and jab strings are probably one of the most important things in Tekken. So you'll be using 1-2-1, 1-2-1, and an occasional 1-2-1, which is -4. New players, you do this throw. It's completely worthless. Don't bother with it. Everybody knows it's a 2 break. It's pointless to do that. You jab 1-2-1, 2-1, the occasional 1-2-1, and that's his 10 frame stuff. His 11 frame pokes are standing for. I don't really ever use this, but you can get a counter combo off of it. Like I said, I don't really use this at all. If I'm gonna try to fish for a counter, I'm using back 1, not this. You can use this in his combos, but it really doesn't have a whole lot of use with King. 11 frames also is forward neutral 1 plus 2. This move. This is one of my favorite pokes. It's bufferable. The only thing is a lot of people don't like it because it doesn't do any damage on hit. It does get a counter combo when you counter somebody. It's about 0 frames on block, and to me, it's just one of his really good poke tools. You can just do multiples. You can do like a Shining Wizard into it. But like I said, it's 0 on block, and it's a good move. I like it. A lot of people don't like it, but I like it, and I use it quite a bit. And his other 11 frame poke. This is more of a panic move. You're kind of getting pressured. It's down 1, neutral 2. It's 0 on hit, or it might even be minus on block. Or minus on hit. I'm not 100% sure, but it's punishable on block, about a -11. It's basically just a punish move, or maybe if you're trying to pressure and you think they're going to retaliate with jabs. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's just something to keep in mind. At 12 frames, poke back 1. You can fish for counters with this for a full combo. Good move. You're going to be punishing with this a lot. Back 1-2 is his punisher, and as you can see, 44 damage is a big chunk of damage. He also has a mid option, which is 1-4. It's very delayable. You can really delay that thing and often catch people who you're just throwing out a bunch of back 1, back 1, back 1, as maybe a poke or something like that, and then occasional a delayed 4. You can hit him with that. But basically, back 1 is your poke, back 1-2 is your punishment. 13 frames. His poke is down forward 2. This has a follow-up of a 1, which is delayable. You're not going to be doing the string a lot because it is high. But when you do delay it, occasionally you'll catch somebody and you can do a small little combo. But basically stick with the down forward 2. This move tracks to his right and also seems to track a little bit to his left. I've noticed that his down forward 2 and his down forward 1 both seem to track each direction, at least some. At least that's my experience. I could be wrong. But down forward 2 definitely tracks to King's right. 14 frame pokes and punishment. Down forward 1 is going to be his main poke at this frame. Tracks to his left and a little bit to his right, like I said. It has a delayable 2. If you just do 1-2 real quick, it's punishable. If you delay it, it's not punishable, it's safe. This is a good move to use, particularly if you're trying to set up throws, because it has that delayable follow-up. Good move, use it as punishment. When you delay it, it's safe. You can't beat a 14 frame move that's safe on block and does pretty decent damage, 36. Let's see, anything else at 14 frames? Okay, at 14 frames also he has generic down 4, that's his best low. It's fast at 14 frames. On hit, it's about -3. On block, I think it's -12 or so. You'll be using this a lot for, at least you should be, as his main low. This is his best low. And although it does crappy damage, it's his best low, and you should be using that a lot. He also has down forward 4. This isn't a bad option either. A little bit more range. It's -3 on block, and it's, I believe, -14, or it's -3 on hit, -14 on block. So again, if you chip low with him, you should be blocking because they're both negative frames on hit. And also, one other move that is sort of a poke is back 4 at 14 frames. This has 2 follow-ups. 1+2, which is that's kind of what's used in his most of his combos. He also has a 4, which will create a transition to a throw combo. It's not a bad poke, and both this option and this option are both safe, so it's not a bad thing to use here and there. His 15 frame pokes are forward 2, forward 2, 2. You can also complete a string of forward 2, 2, 2. Does that, which is one of his bind moves. Or 1. I wouldn't really do either of those unless you're binding or trying to wall carry. Basically, a forward +2 will suffice what you're trying to do. Another good poke of his is, and this is a really good poke. Forward +2, I think, is about -4 on block or so. Forward +3 has a follow-up of 1+2, which does meaty damage. 44, it's safe on block at about -9. This move is often used in his crouch game. You know, you'll be using, or stuff like this is for crouch dash. Excuse me, his crouch dash game. You'll be doing stuff like this a lot, and then you'll go and just throw this move at. It's very linear, but does meaty damage and it's safe. Let's see, anything else at 15 frames is hop kick. Every new King's favorite move. It's a knee, so it's not reversible. That's why I think a lot of King players throw it out. It's punishable at -13, comes out of 15 frames. The more you play, you realize that hop kicks need to be set up, but I know a lot of people just throw them out. Good move, but it is punishable, and it's not reversible. I'm going to mention this poke at 16 frames, but you never really want to use this outside of, you just knocked him to the ground and you want to try to chip him with the low. Every new King seems to love this move, the alley kick stuff. You know, multiples, you know, the mid option. Every part of this move is launchable on block. Do not use it, do not use it, do not use it, do not use it. The only time you should use this move is twofold. Like I said, they're on the ground and you want to chip them with an extra 10 or 15 points, whatever it hits. One of the use I've discovered recently is if they're up against the wall, they're on low health, they're getting ready to crash tag or just tag to get the hell out, this will hit the guy on the ground for that additional points. Outside of those two reasons, this move should never be used. The low options are all launchable, the mid option is launchable. Don't use it. Punishment, at 16 frames, back 3 will basically hit everything else that back 1 won't hit. You really won't be using this much, but it's an option. At 18 frames, which are going to be the last two pokes I talk about, 4+4. This is his homing move, and it's a really good homing move. It's mid, it crushes lows. I'm pretty sure it wall splats as well. Yes, it does. This also seems to, I've had this experience, and I could be wrong, but since he kind of turns his back to wing this right kick out, I've crushed jabs before, but I just think it's more of a range thing. Like right around here, they jab me and I throw this out and I beat them, even though I shouldn't have. This is a really good move. It should be used quite a bit, and specifically when I talked about King's weakness, which is his left side. This will catch everything, 18 frames, safe on block, really good move. You should be using it quite frequently. And last 18 frame move that I can think of that's somewhat useful is forward, neutral 2. 18 frames, it creates a nosebleed stun counter combo. You can get out of it. The opponent can get out of it. It's more of just a poke. That's what I use it for. You know, something like this. You can buffer the first forward into a previous move. It's not a bad move. It's not a great move. It's something to use occasionally. So that's those moves. The other thing I want to talk about are other useful moves that I think from that I use. One is forward +1, which is another homing move. It's a little bit slower, but it has a lot bigger range. I like to use this at a distance because it closes the distance. It's safe on block around -4, -5. I also kind of like to do this out of full crouch or crouch dash like that. I really like this move and I use it a lot at a distance. I know some people don't ever use it. It's 100% tracking move, homes everything. I like it. I talk about 4+4. Use that a lot. This is his new move, while standing 2-2. 100% homing move from full crouch, which is a nice addition because you can step him when he crouched. Now you can't do that with this move. Down back 3. This is the occasional toss out low. It's about 22 frames coming out. It's launchable on block around -16, and it's about +2 on hit. This creates a counter combo, which I'll show later, and I talked about a little bit earlier. A lot of Kings, with the giant swing 1 and 2, a lot of it's bufferable. This is one of the moves that you'll be buffering a giant swing off of like this. That's a good setup for a throw with him. And that's usually what I mainly use that move for, is to try for a giant swing or some other throw. Don't use it a ton because it is launchable, but it's not a bad option. A really good move for King is this while standing 4, and this is good with everybody. The reason this is good is because it's one of the most damaging while standing 4s in the game, but you can also use it with its full crouch game, and when you do it that way, it starts to track more. It also has really good range. So you want to implement a crouch dash with a while standing 4 into your game with King. It's a pretty important part of his arsenal. Another move you can use occasionally is down back 4. It's not bad, it's not great, it's just more of a toss-out move occasionally. I don't really have a whole lot to say about this because I don't use it a lot, but it's not a bad move. In full crouch, his launcher at 15 frames is full crouch down 4+2. It's punishable on block around -13, -14. Comes out at 15 frames, like I think I said. Has pretty good distance, pretty good range on it. Don't abuse it, but it's something we'll use from full crouch. Another thing to use from full crouch, or you can actually crouch dash this, which I don't know if a lot of King players know this, is full crouch down 4+1, which is his low combo starter. This move's safe on block at -9. It's really slow though at about 30 frames coming out, so for this to be punished, it basically needs to be either hop kicked or parried. Really good players usually parry it, so you kind of want to disguise using it if you are going to try to use it, and one of the ways I try to disguise it is by doing a crouch dash into it, like that. I'll do it real slow, I usually do it faster, but you can crouch dash into it, and that's not a bad way to use it. You know, you jab, they're getting ready to jab you back, you crouch dash into it, it goes under their jabs, and you hit them with that for a full combo. It's not a bad move, not a great move, but you use it occasionally. Another move I want to talk about that I don't use, but I want people to be aware of, is back 3+4. That's the same as 3+4. You can do the same type of moves out of it. The reason I want to mention this is when you raw tag in, This kind of helps protect him a little bit. So you just tagged in with a raw tag, they're getting ready to crush you. If you do this move quick enough, it seems to eliminate some of the frames. It's just my experience, but like I said, I don't really use this. I more or less just wanted to throw this move out to let people know that he has this, and it's a little bit evasive, and you can, you know, do stuff out of it. Another move is down back 2. This comes out around 20-21 frames. It's about -5 on block. This will do a combo where you can do a pick whip of down 4-3 into a full combo. I just wanted to mention this move. It's mostly used as a bind move at the wall frame, but it's not a bad move to just use out in the open here and there. It doesn't have great range, but it's not bad. Another move I want to mention is his moonsault move, the unblockable moonsault, which is this 1-4. It's not a bad move for Oki situation. The best practical use of this move is as a tech trap at the wall. I'll show that a little bit later. It's not a bad move, not a great move again. So with somebody who sees this, you can float this for a juggle. So you're not going to be using this out in the open like that. They jab you and they get a juggle off it. It's more of the tech trap at the wall. Another decent move that I use more for an opponent who's grounded, and I think they're going to maybe do a low sweep or a low get-up kick, is up 4+3. Doesn't really look like much. It's kind of slow. I think it comes out around 30 frames, maybe 25 frames. I'm not 100% sure. But it has really good range on it. I use this a lot as a round ender. Not bad, not great. But like I said, I usually use this for they're on the ground and they're either going to stay there or they're going to maybe try a low get-up kick. That's probably the best use of that move. And the last thing I want to talk about is his reversals. He has a right punch only reversal of back 1-3. That's not real useful. The only move that I can think of that I look out for with that are one of Fang's 4 strings, one of Fang's 4 punch strings. It ends with right punch. It's real obvious. I don't know what it's called. And also one of Fang's bind move, which is that twirly. I think it's down back 2-2-2. It's 2 lows followed by a mid. I use that on Fang. That's about the only time I use that move. But he has, by hitting back 2+4, that is a strictly only a kick reversal, and that's not bad to use against, you know, somebody who likes to kick a lot, or the kick characters like Beck and Hurong, however you pronounce that guy's name. That's something to use occasionally. You don't want to use reversals that much with anybody, but it's something to keep in mind. On his reversals, both his punch and kick reversals, they are unchickenable, if that's an actual word. You can't chicken them. So if you hit somebody with them, you are golden. You're going to reverse them. Okay, so what I want to talk about next with King is pretty much what he's known for, which are his throws, and talk about what I think are his best throws. I think his best throw is the Tomahawk move, which is commonly called the Shining Wizard, which is, you know, that move. The reason I think it's his best move is you can do it from practically any situation, off of other moves, blocked moves. You can do it off of crouch dash. I'll show you here. You can do it off of a crouch dash. You can do it off of just about anything, and it's done by forward, 2+4. And there's 3 ways to do it. That way, which I think is the hardest, you can do it forward, neutral, forward, +2+4. Or the way I taught myself how to do it is forward, neutral, forward, 2+4. And essentially what you're doing when I'm going to talk about how I do it just because that's what I know. When I was learning how to do his Shining Wizard for his for combo enders in Tekken 6, I could not do forward, or forward, neutral, forward to get that move up. But I was able to at least do it somewhat with forward, neutral, forward. And as I practice and practice, I think that's the most efficient and easiest way to do it. And what you're basically doing is you're hitting forward. You can do this in the open or inside of another move, but you're essentially buffering the first forward, and then you're letting it go back to neutral, and as soon as King recovers, you're going to hit forward, forward, +2, +4. So if you're out in the open, you would do it like that. You'd hit the forward, the neutral, and then you would hit forward, forward. And I'll show you. And it's just like that. You can see it's coming out correctly because he's doing the two-hand grab. To me, that's the easiest. You can buffer it, put the forward in. I'll try to make the control sound real loud. Forward, buffer it, comes back to neutral, then you hit forward, forward, something like this. Forward, buffer, like that. Buffer, like that. And that's kind of how you do it. You can essentially do this move off of any move you want. Obviously, you want to be a couple frames because, well, realistically, this move comes out I think at 11 or 12 frames, but it probably the fastest it can come out is maybe 13 or 14 frames. But you're going to catch people with this a lot. Like I said, you can do it out of a crouch dash, which is a good option. You can do it out of a single jab. You can do it out of anything. You can do it out of anything. But you can learn, and you can learn to do it either up against the wall like this, or out in the open. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't even really matter if you have it on them guarding or not. If they're on guarding, it's a little harder because you don't have as much pushback. But ideally, and no matter how much you practice, you're going to screw it up. Ideally, you want to be able to do it from point-blank range and just basically buffer in the open. And I'll see if I can pull it off a couple times. And it's basically how you want to do it. Right in their face. If you can really master that at doing it at any position, any point, right in their face, not in their face, that makes that a really, really, really good throw. But that's you can practice it by doing a single jab, by doing this move. Like I said, if you can get it like that, you're golden. Practice it off any move and just keep practicing because it will take time. So that's that move. The next move, which I think is next best, is the giant swing, which is this move. This does huge damage. You can, most people know, you can tech roll it by mashing on the 1 when the opponent's thrown and his butt's about to hit the ground. Mash on the 1 and it'll decrease the damage from 65 to 45. Against the wall, you take 70 damage. But you can buffer this just like the Shining Wizard into a lot of things. Like that move, and basically make this motion unseeable, so you don't know it's a one break. I think it's really useful out of this move. I do this a lot. You can mix it with the giant swing 2, which is a right break. But again, this is bufferable, so you'll want to do some move, and then if it hits, you're going to want to complete the complete motion and just basically hit the 1. You want to have the whole motion of forward, back, bottom circle, forward, buffered into the previous move, and as soon as King recovers, you want to hold forward, and you want to hit 1 right when he recovers. And that's the quickest way to get it out, and you mask what you're trying to do. So, and that's also comes out in 11 frames, and it's the fastest throw in the game, along with Dragunov's forward, I hope I say this right, forward 2 + 3, forward 1 + 4, and there's probably another couple of throws that come out at 11 frames, but it's a really good move. If you're a King player, you should be using it as one of your main throws, and learn how to buffer it if you don't. The next move that I think is a really good move is this move, which it's okay damage-wise by itself. I mean, it's, I don't know, 15, 20 or whatever it was, but it's really good up against the wall because you can create a combo with down back 2 like this. Okay, so that's why that is good. And the nice thing is you can throw them behind by holding back. You know, toss them behind. So if your back's against the wall, I can show this, but if me and this in the default king switch places, and you know he goes through his motions of trying to hit me with whatever, I block it all. I go for this throw, I hit back, I throw him into the wall, and now I switch places with him, and then I can kick the hell out of him in that way. That's why I think that is a really good move. His next best throw, it's more situational, and it's this. It's his muscle buster, which is down, down, back, back, 1+2. It's again, it's a 1+2 break. The reason I think this is very situational, and I think the best situation to use it is when you do a crouch dash into a forward, and then you do the motion like this. If I can do it like that. That's the best time, in my opinion, to use it, because it doesn't. You can't buffer this one, but you can kind of mask what you're doing, and that's what you want to do with his throws, is mask stuff. To do a crouch dash, hit a forward to cancel the crouch dash, then do down, down, back, back, 1+2, and that comes out like that. His next best throw is his giant swing too, which is this. Basically, you're gonna intermingle that with his normal giant swing. It's not a whole lot to talk about with it. It's something you should use occasionally, like you're doing a lot of this with that, and then they start mashing it, and you can just mix it up with that one as well. Not a whole lot to talk about. It's a decent one. It does meaty damage like most of his throws, around 55, 60, something like that. 50. Good throw. You should definitely use that as well. But Giant Swing, Shining Wizard is two main ones, and like the other two situational. And another one that's pretty decent, and it's also bufferable, is his Tombstone, which is that. This does big damage, 58, I think. Yeah. You can buffer this as well. Make it come out a little bit quicker. Buffer the first down back, and then as soon as that's buffered, you can hit the forward in the 2+4. So that's kind of what I think are his best throws. The rest throws are okay. I don't really use. Really, I use Shining Wizard a lot, Giant Swing a lot, the occasional Muscle Buster, and that's usually what I use. But those are what I think are about his top 5 or 6 best throws. Next thing I'm going to talk about are his multi throws. I'm not going to get into how to do them because they're in the move list, but I am going to talk about what I think is at least practical to use here and there. To me, really the only practical ones that you can actually use in a match are Crouch Dash 2+3 and Crouch Dash 1+4, which are I think this is called the standing heel hold or whatever. What is it? Arm breaker, I think, is what that's called. I think those are really the only two that you can actually use, and the reason I think those are at least usable from time to time is because of this crouch while standing in. So you can mix stuff up like this, and then you can throw one of those out every once in a while. It's not something you want to use a lot because it's not real fast. I think the throw itself comes out at 12 frames, but I think if you do a crouch dash as fast as you can, it's maybe 15 or 16. So you're probably looking in the range of somewhere between 15 and 20 of it actually coming out. But that's one way. I mean, if you're just doing multi-throws just for the hell of it like this, you're going to get launched. You're going to get ducked and launched. You're going to get hop kicked and launched. So to mask, again, King's throws are a lot about masking that you're trying to throw. So you're this, and then you go for a throw. So that's kind of what I think are his useful multi-throws. Other one that's okay, I don't use, but I mean, I guess you could use it occasionally, is You know, just 3+4. The only reason I say this is somewhat useful is because the throw of, hopefully I say this right, this throw of 3+4, and then you can either do 2+3 or 1+4 for the throw. The 2+3 and the 1+4 have the same exact throw animation. There's no difference. So it's a true 50-50 guess for the actual break of the opening move. But it's quite slow. It's, as you can see, you're probably looking at around 25-30 frames of it coming out. I don't really find a whole lot. I never use this, but I guess you could. I think you can also do it back 3+4. Yeah. I don't use it. You can try it. It does gigantic damage on some of the throws, but how long it takes really doesn't make it real practical. Like I said, I think his crouch dash 2+3, crouch dash 1+4 are useful multi-throws. One other one I'll talk about that I can think of is sidestep 2+4, where he does this animation. You can do it, you know, up, or you can do it down. Either way is fine. This really isn't that useful either, because everybody knows the break is 1+2 at the initial grab, and then I think the third one is just mash on the 2. There's no alternate parts of the chain, so it's 1+2, or the third throw will be a break of 2. Not really useful. You might occasionally see people cancel of this. Again, I don't think this is that useful, but you hold back and he just cancels the actual grab and he ends up in full crouch, so you can do full crouch stuff. That's more useful than the actual throw attempt, but I really wouldn't bother with that at all either. And these, I'm throwing this in as a multi-throw, though I guess it's not really like the other ones. Back, well, 1+2. First thing I'll talk about is it has specific character tags. Back 1+2 tag. I'm not sure of all the characters, but I know Armor King, I'm pretty sure Marduk, maybe even JC. They all have like a double clothesline type move. Not really sure if anybody else has that with them, because I don't really use Armor King that much, and I don't use JC, and I haven't used King or Marduk together, but I know King Marduk and King Armor King do have something out of there. But I'll talk about back 1+2. Let me get them in the open here. Position settings, default. Okay. First one I'll talk about is back 1+2, 1+3, which is that throwaway. This is pretty useful. The reason I say this is useful is I'm not sure of the 100% frames on this, but I think you get +14 for King when you use this. So it gives a free, if I do it right. Yeah, see, I have him on guard. Yeah, I have him on guard, and I hit him with a down forward +3, which is 14 frames. I'm not sure if 15 frames will hit, because nothing that I think King has will reach, but I'm going to call it +14 on that throw. So back 1+2, 1+3 gives you what I'm calling +14 frames. What you want to do is, if you do this move, back 1+2, 1+3, you want to do back 1+2. It's free. And if anybody else, I don't use the back 1+2 throws that much, so if I'm wrong on here, please let me know. I rarely use these, but I'm pretty sure, I'm about 99% sure that 1+3, that's guaranteed. So if you use back 1+2, 1+3, use back 1+2 for a guaranteed hit. Back 1+2, 2+4. There's nothing guaranteed here as far as I can tell, but it does set up Oki situations, specifically with its launcher. If they try to stand up or do something, that'll hit. You can also do for another attempted launch. It's basically for Oki situations, and as far as I can tell, nothing's guaranteed. Back 1+2, 1+2. This sets up an attempt for his back throw, which is forward back 1+2. Nothing's guaranteed out of here, but if you do that throw, it gives you about +3, +4 frames for king. So it sets up a 50-50. If they duck, you can hit them obviously with a hop kick, because nothing they can do is going to be fast enough generally. But if you want to be safe, like I said, it's +3 or +4. When I tested, it was coming out right in that range because I was using a down forward 1 and a down forward 3, and it was kind of trading with both of those moves. You can do a down forward 3 for a hit. At worst, you'll trade. But if they don't duck, they have to break the throw because they can't turn around. Or if they don't duck or jab you, they have to attempt to break the throw. And I'll show you because back, forward, 1+2 will hit. Okay, so that's what you're trying to get them in. They can duck that, and now but I don't believe they can out jab you because it's a 12 frame throw and you are +3 or +4, but they can't duck you. But at that point, you have a 50 mix up of trying that throw or going with either a hop kick, which is a little more risky, or more of a guaranteed option, which is a down forward 3. So that's stuff you can do out of that. And back 1+2, 3+4 guarantees a ground throw attempt. And his ground throws are down back 2+4 or down back 1+3. It also guarantees a chip low, whatever one you prefer. I think that's the highest frame one. I think that comes out at 21, 22. That'll hit. I'll try the full crouch one. I don't think that'll hit. I think there's 2. Yeah, that won't hit in time. So you can chip them with a down back 3, down 3+4, his alley kick stuff, or you can go for the ground throw, which, as you know, ground throws can be broken. So, like I said, if I'm wrong on any of that, please let me know. I don't use those moves hardly ever, but those are options out of back 1+2, and the throw break on that is 1+2. So the next thing I'll talk about is that moves that put you into full crouch. Down 4. I should have mentioned this too. I did mention down back 3 into the giant swing. You can also do this off of down 4. See that there? Which isn't a bad option either. But anyways, down 4 puts you in crouch. Down back 3, and I told you why I like down back 3, because of the chance that the giant swing mix up, or you can hit him with something. Full crouch, that'll put you into full crouch as well if you hold down. You can do full crouch. How it's listed in the command list is full crouch, down 4 +1. You can also do it by, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, crouch dashing and then holding down forward. That's how I do it. Gives a little bit more options out of it. And also, he doesn't have a whole lot of moves that I can think of offhand, and I might be missing a couple, but those are the ones that I can think of offhand that puts him in crouch. And 2 of his cancels aren't really great, but forward 2-1 is that move. You can cancel it by pressing back. This 4-4 +2 is +2 or 3 on hit or on block. The cancel, you can cancel it into a giant swing, which makes it somewhat useful pretty quickly, because the forward +2 is a mid, or you can cancel it into some other throw that you want. I don't really use it that much because it's pretty slow, but when you do back, because you're doing forward +2, then you're doing forward, and then to cancel it, you're hitting back, so you're already getting the giant swing animation of forward, back into it, so you just basically got to do bottom circle forward. That's why a giant swing out of it's not a bad option. It kind of cuts down on the moves you got to do. It's not real practical, but that's one thing you can do out of it. And then another is forward 2-2 back. neither of them are real great, but this is probably a little bit better option, just that. So what I'm going to talk about next is his full crouch game. And he doesn't have a bad full crouch game. His full crouch game consists mainly of while standing 1, while standing 4. While standing 4 is a way better option than while standing 1. I think I mentioned this. It has one of the highest damage, might even be the highest, one of the highest damage of just a while standing 4. So you want to use that a lot, you know, like I talked about in his crouch stuff. Down 4, this is a low you should be using a lot, you know, standing or crouching. Comes out about 13 frames. Good low, and it's really his best one. At 14 frames, his new tracking move I talked about a little bit before, while standing 2-2, about -12 on block. If you do the full string, it's safe if you just do the first one. His launcher, first launcher out of here is down 4 +2. Good thing, good range. It's a mid. It's punishable around 13, 14 on block. Not the easiest thing in the world to punish because it has pretty good range on it. But if you duck something and they're throwing out highs, you're going to be throwing this out to crush them for a full juggle. Let's see what else. I think this comes out at 19 frames. This is a launcher, 1 +2. It's about -10 on block. It's not very punishable. If that's wrong, it's maybe -11 or so. You get a full launch out of it. Not a bad launcher. It's a little slow, 19 frames, but it being very, very low frame, it being -10, -9, -10, -11 makes it an option, specifically if you're, you know, is crouch dash game. Let's see, anything else that I can think of? Oh, we talked about this. Down 4 +1. It's a combo starter for him. Not a bad throw, or not a bad low out of it. I think I talked about it before, where I said it's pretty slow. It's safe on block, so usually if you're going to get this punished, it's going to be parried or hop kicked, because you can't see it. It's around, I think I said around 30 frames. Not a bad move to use here and there, but I usually use it. They're jabbing me. They're doing something like this, and I know they're going to come with a high. I just do a full crouch into that move. And then I talked about his throws, how you can, he has one other throw out of here, which is down, down, back, down, down, back, and that'll do that rock bottom type move. That's not something, that's not a bad move to mix in within conjunction when you do a down back 3 and you're doing the giant swings stuff that I talked about earlier. But I don't really use that one all that much, simply because most people know he has a 1 +2 break throw out of the crouch, so they're usually anticipating that one. So that's his full crouch game. Okay, I've mentioned this a bunch. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about this with King. I think King's offense is really pretty bland without his while standing crouch dash stuff, because it adds a lot to his gameplay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about options. I talked about his full crouch game, so I won't do a whole lot of about that anymore. But he has lots of options coming out of while standing moves, using crouch dash throws, multi throws. Yeah, I told you could go into the full crouch, and you can kind of. He also has a wave dash. And it's not the easiest thing to do, and I haven't mastered this by any means, but let me turn on this so I can show you. Let's see, advanced settings, HUD information, command history. Everybody knows the Mishimas are done by doing forward, neutral, down, down, forward, and just basically repeating that motion of like this. And as you can see at the bottom, that's how you would do a Mishima one. You can't do that with King. That's not, his doesn't work like that. You do the initial crouch dash just like everybody else, but to do follow-up crouch dashes, you have to omit the neutral between forward and down, and it's not the easiest thing to do, and hopefully I can pull it off relatively easy. It is not the easiest thing to do. Let me see if I can show you a couple of times. Okay, there it was. I'm going to leave up the thing, and I'll leave up the HUD information and show you. So as you can see, I do the forward, neutral, down, down, forward. Then you get back to neutral. Then it's, as you can see, as the last part is forward, down. You have to go from forward to down, and then you can keep doing that motion, but you have to omit the neutral. If you get a neutral in there after the initial crouch dab, King can't wave dash. I only practice 2 or 3, and like I said, I haven't mastered this at all, but it's really useful the more and more I practice it. So again, it's the crouch dash, neutral, forward, down. Let me see if I can show you again. There you go. And I'll leave that up for a second so you can look at it again. So it's, talk about it one last time before I move on. Forward, it's the regular Mishima crouch dash to start it. Forward, neutral, down, down, forward. That's the crouch dash. Then you want to follow up with King, and this only works, as far as I know, this is only with King. The next part is going to be neutral, forward, down, down, forward. Neutral, forward, down, down, forward. If you get a neutral between the forward and the down, it will not wave dash with King. And I'll show you. See? Doesn't work. Doesn't work. But you eliminate it, like I showed you one more time. You can crouch dash. I only practice 2 or 3. Yeah. But you can crouch dash repeatedly by doing forward, down, down, forward, neutral, forward, down, forward, neutral. So that's how to do his multiple crouch dash wave dashes. Let me turn that off. Let's see. Turn off the HUD info. Okay. So when you are doing, you know, multiple crouch dashes or just single crouch dashes, some of the while standing moves you're going to use are, this is his best option in my opinion. Big damage, 28, 29, and I talked about how you can work in the multi throws if you want to using that. You can also do while standing 1, that's safe. While standing 2, that's safe. Occasionally throw in that. So that's some ideas there, but basically if you're going to do a while standing move, you want to do while standing +4. When you do a crouch dash, maybe I should put this back up. When you do a crouch dash, you're doing forward, neutral, down, down, forward. But when you release it, at least though this is on a stick, when you release it, it actually automatically goes to a forward just because your hand kind of goes like that. So it goes like that. So you already have a forward in. So you can do forward plus moves by hitting another forward. So what I'll show first is forward +1, which is this move, out of a crouch dash. Okay, so that's just forward, hold forward. To do it out of a crouch dash, you would do the crouch dash, hit forward again, and then hit 1. Okay, and I'll do it real quick. Okay, so you can, that's how you do forward moves out of a crouch dash. You do the crouch dash and just hit forward one more time, and that's how you do them. You can do, you know, that spinaroo move I showed before. That move. He also has this move you can do. So that's how you do it. Crouch dash and then hit another forward to do forward moves. One thing I do a good bit when I do that is this move, which is forward, neutral 1+2 for some pressure. Done the same way, crouch dash, hit a forward, neutral 1+2. And you can also you won't do this next thing I'm going to talk about that much, but you can also do forward moves, because those were forward plus moves. You can do forward moves by hitting 2 forwards. So you would do crouch dash. There's the first forward. If you hit another forward, he's in a running state. So to cancel that running state, you're going to hit another forward, and that's how you would do something like this, like that move. You would do it like that. Okay, so you would do crouch dash, forward, another forward, and then whatever your move is going to be. I'll show it one more time. Like that. Let's see, anything else I can think of? Good moves to do out of the crouch dash, like I said, is, let me take this off, standing guard. And I'll get rid of this too, I don't really need that because I explained that. Advanced settings, turn this off. Crouch dash while standing. Talked about the multi-throws. You can do that if you want to. You can, a good move to do out of it is, I talked about this. Crouch dash forward neutral 1+2. A really good move to do out of this is crouch dash forward +3, which is that move. That's a good mix-up move to use out of it. I talked about the crouch dash into that one throw, which is down, back 1+2, which is this. Why I can't do it right now? Okay. Show you. I can do it. There we go. I screwed up the throw, but there we go. That's a good thing to do out of. What else? One other thing I want to mention about his while standing game is if you do a crouch dash and you just hold down or down forward, or even down back. Once you get into crouch dash, you can do his crouch dash move. So that's not a bad option either. You're doing this, and then you do a crouch dash, hold down, and go back, hit down, and you can do stuff like that. That's not a bad option either. The way I do it is crouch dash, hold down forward, and then immediately roll back to down back, and then you can do, you know, that launcher or whatever you might want to do. And I just basically do it in one motion to make it kind of quick. Crouch dash, down forward, down back, and then into his crouch stuff. So that's kind of a way to cancel that. Anything else that I can, and I talked about crouch dash into the Shining Wizard. If I can back up. I have issues doing it. There we go. You can do that as well. But just mix it up. While standing +4, multi-throws, full crouch moves. You can do the occasional down lows. I mean, there's so much you can do out of this, but the key is just keep in mind, mix it up, use lots of while standing moves, full crouch moves. You can use some of his multi-throws and so on and so forth. And keep in mind that you can do multiple crouch dashes by doing that. Next thing I'm going to talk about is moves that get you into back turned. You won't really, it doesn't have a lot of options, great options for back turn, but here's how you get them into back turn if you want to use some of those options. Back +4, just automatic, gets you in. 1+2, gets you in. Let's see. Down forward, his string of down forward 4, 3, 4. If you hold back, that gets him into back. He doesn't have a whole lot of back turn useful moves, but the ones that I can think of offhand are he's in back turn. If you hit down 4, he does that little drop kick. If you hit 1+2, unblockable clothesline. You can do the moonsault 1+4. Let's see, what else does he have? Oh, he has a launcher out of here, 1+2. If they try to attack you, and you hit 3, which is that kick move, it creates a counter launcher where you can do down 4+3. Maybe I'll show you it so you know so you can follow what I'm talking about. Let's see. advanced settings, counter. That is it on counter? No, it's not on counter. That's why it didn't work. Okay, do it again. On counter, yes, echo. So you can do a combo out of there. One other move, if it's not a counter off of that back three, if you hit 1+2, it'll do like a bulldog. So 3, 1+2. Let me show you. There it is, right there. You'll probably never ever use this in a match, but it's there. Looks pretty cool. But like I said, it's if the 3 hits and you hit 1+2. Let's see. Make sure I hit everything out of there. Down 4, 1+2. Yeah, I talked about everything in there. Next thing I'm going to talk about are his launchers. He doesn't have a whole lot of launchers, actually. He's one of the characters that don't have many, at least many useful ones. But 15 frame, up 4+4. Full crouch, down 4+2. While standing, 1+2. 18, 19 frame. This is a new addition to, I should have talked about it earlier. This crushes high, but it's really launchable on block. But it does have some pushbacks. You can do a meaty combo with it. Just be real careful if you're going to be using this. It's launchable on block. Another launcher is full crouch or crouch dash, down 4+1. And that's another one. And then up 4, 1+2. Since this is a launcher, but this also is one of his few moves that get plus frame on block by +2. The only thing is it's very linear and very slow, so it's an occasional toss-out move, not something you want to use that much, but it's an option. Okay, the first thing I'm going to talk about in this section is counter hit launchers. Some of them aren't true counter hit launchers, they actually turn into a counter hit launch throw. He's about maybe 2, 3, 4 of those. I should hit all of them, hopefully I don't forget any. But the first counter hit launcher at 11 frames is forward, neutral, 1+2, which is that move. It's +16, I believe, on counter hit. And this gives a free back 3. Nothing exciting, but like I said, I like to pressure with this move a lot. You don't have to follow up with a back 3. I believe at certain ranges you can also do a back 1+2. I'm not sure, just out in the open. Let me test it. Okay, so you can hit him with a back 1-2 as well right here. See it whip there. Okay, it seems like if you hit it real quick, it comes out. I always use back 3, but I've seen people use back 1-2. To be safe, I would use back 3, but it does look like back 1-2 will hit as well. I know back 3 always hits, but there's 2 options out of there. 12 frame, you can do. I don't think you can do actually a whole lot out of here. Standing 4, back 1-2, and I think you can also follow up with, yeah, a little combo like that. I never use that. I never use back 4 as a counter type tool, but you can do little combos like that. I'm not even going to talk about that because that's not really, you'll never really use that. But one you will use at 12 frames is back 1. This is mostly the Punisher, like I talked about, but you can also kind of use it as a counterfish tool. If you do counter on this, you want to step the king's right, and you can do a bunch of different combos out of this. You can do, you know, that one. Now let me get back. Okay. You can do something like that. I mean, you can do a whole bunch of stuff, but the key is sidestep normally to his right. At 13 frames, he has 2. I talked about this one, I believe, briefly. I'll talk about it again. Back turn 3 on a counter. You can do a full combo. And also down forward 1-2. if the one combos, or even if I think it hits normally, you'll get a combo. You can do two combos off here. The two that I do. One for male, which is down forward. Too bad it hit him to the side, so it won't complete in full. But you do down forward 2-1, followed by down forward 4-3, and you follow with a ollie kick combo, down 4-3. Let me see if I can get him out in the open somewhere where you can see it better. Okay, so that's the highest one on males that will always hit. If it's a female, you want to do down forward 1, down forward 2-1, down forward 3 plus 4, 4-2. That one will always work on females. The other one works on males. At 14 frames, he has back 2-4. Now this transitions into a counter throw, which is this. And I think I talked about this. The good thing about these two strings here are they're both safe, so it's never a bad idea to throw that out. Let's see, 16 frames. This also transitions into a throw. This is normally just a knockdown. This will transition into a DDT. Let's see. At 18 frames, he has forward neutral +2. This is a crumble stun so they can get out of it, but you can't get a full combo if they don't know how to get out of a crumble stun. You can launch them like this. And then 23 frames, he has down back 3, which is that. This used to just yield something like this. And there's several other versions of this. Now you can crouch cancel. If you don't know how to crouch cancel, that's that. And then you just tap up for a brief second and you can get a full combo out of this now. They seem to increase the frames on this. So you can get a full combo by crouch canceling. And that's just done by pressing up at the right moment. And there's your full combo. So that's his counter hit launchers that I can think of. I might be missing one or two. Probably am, but that's the ones that I can think of offhand. Taggable launchers. Let me turn this off real quick. Let's see. Advanced settings, counter, off. Taggable launchers, the ones that I can think of offhand are full crouch, down forward +2, down 1 +2. I should just show you bringing in the guy. And then I think that's the only two that I can think of offhand. Let's see. Next, the next thing I want to cover are his bound moves. He doesn't have a whole lot, but the ones that he'll be using most of the time for most of his combos is back 1 +2, which is that. He also has down back 2. He also has the generic one that everybody has. Let's see, am I forgetting anything else? I think that might be his only two. I'm sure I'm missing one. Anyways, I'm going to move on. Basic combos off of certain moves. Off of up forward +4, you have several ones you can do. I'm just going to show them real quick, and I'll talk about them. That's one. It's just up forward 4, a regular standing 4, back 2, 1 +2. You can also do something like this, which is hop kick 2-1, forward 2-2-2. Let's see. You can this one I think is his highest damage one. That's just hop kick forward 3, forward 1, forward 2-2-2, and you can also do this. Which is down forward 2-1, forward 1, back 2-2-4. So that's his basic combos out of that. Out of full crouch, down forward +2. He can do a couple of different versions. Probably the one you'll be using the most is this. Very similar to the ones with a hop kick. You can also do bind them early with down back 2, which is that. You'll probably use this most in solo mode. I think this does the most damage because the ISW has been nerfed some. So I'll show you that combo just so you kind of know. And you can end with down forward 1, 2, or back 3. They both do the same amount of damage, but it's down forward 2, 2, 1, forward 2, 2, 1, then whatever the ender you want to do. Let's see. Next combo I'll just talk about real quick is up forward 1+2, which is that. That's always going to be down forward 3+4 and that stuff. And the last one I'm going to talk about that's a little bit different will be you can do this one several different ways as well. It's crouch dash or full crouch, the down forward +1. Here's the one I do, and I'll talk about it after I show you. That's his highest yielding damage one. You can also do a one like this. I mean, I don't do this one, but this also works. A little less damage. But in Tekken Tag 2, next one I'm going to show you, it wasn't. I don't think it was possible in Tekken 6, but they seem to give him more recovery frames on this or something. Anyways, the properties have changed. You can do a after you hit the initial combo or the initial launch, you can do a down forward 4-3. It's really easy. You don't have to crouch cancel up to do anything. Just time it right, and the timing isn't anything difficult. So that's his basic combos. Alright, the next thing I'm going to talk about with King is his parry combos. He has a ton of different variation ones, so basically what I'm going to just do is just show some of them. Maybe I'll talk about them a little bit, but they're not, outside of some of the dash power bomb ones, they're not really that difficult. So I'll just show a few of them. This is probably the easiest one. There's nothing to this one. This one was the popular one in Tekken 6. Takes forever to reset it. That one. You could also add a dash jab into it, a little bit harder. Let's see. This one is probably his most damaging one that I can think of. And he has a bunch of other ones. Let's see if I can show some easier ones. This, you can do stuff like this. Alley kicks will always hit. But he has a ton of different options. His top is about 40, 41, 42. There's a few other ones that I can think of, but I try to always go with the ISW ender just for strictly cool points. So that's his parry combos. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to talk about with King are some of his wall splat moves. He doesn't have really a real great wall splat move, but his best option isn't really a true wall splat move. And I talked about this before, which is up 1+2. That's probably his best option with your opponent back against the wall or you against the wall. It doesn't matter. A lot of people know that though, so and it's a 1+2 break, but you can get a full wall combo by a down back too. That's probably his best option. Another option is 1+2, and either 1 or 3 will work. He also has back 3 will wall splat, forward +4 will wall splat, forward 4 will wall splat. Forward, this isn't a bad option because it's safe and it's a mid that tracks. Forward 4+1. Shoulder ram will also wall splat. That's forward +2, +3. I'm sure there's several other ones that I'm forgetting. But really his wall splat game isn't that great. Those are probably the main moves that you'll be using most of the time. Another thing I'm going to talk about, let me flip this back. Position setting, default position, is his wall carry in terms of the combo's complete and he's not quite at the wall to do whatever his wall ender is going to be. Basically, you're going to use generally back 1 or his 1-2 jab, and sometimes his back 3, but generally back 1 and one of his jab strings. And hopefully I'll try to shorten this enough where I can show you that. Let's see. And you'll do something like that to carry him further. Let me see if I can shorten this a little bit further. Something like that. Back 1 will carry him. Back 3 will also, like that. And his jab strings is always a good option as well. And I'll show that. And that'll carry him well. So that's that's his basic wall carry moves when you're a little bit short. Back 1, and generally one of his jabs, 1 or 1-2. Let's see. Wall combos at the wall. I'll show these here since I can carry him to the wall with Miguel. Generally speaking, you want to finish. You carry him to the wall incomplete. You want to finish. Actually, I'll show you this. It'll be easier to show and explain. Let's see. Wall. No, yeah, wall hit. You launch him and you bind him at whatever. I'm using Miguel. You're generally going to want to finish with 3 hits from your partner coming in, and I'll show that. Let me do the right one. Something like that. And then you're going to, usually, most of the time, you're going to want to finish with his wall throw, which is forward, back. It's the giant swing, is what it is. You can do it that way, or you can do the running tomahawk also finishes them. So I'll show that real quick. And that's usually what you want to finish with. You can shorten it with the partner. It's not that big of a deal, but generally the most damage will be 3 hits by him. King comes in and does the wall throw. And I'm going to show one other thing with wall carry that some people might not be familiar with. Let's see. Make sure I carry him. Nope. Let's do it again. Once you get him to the wall, a good thing to do is finish them with a back 3 or a back 1. Back 3 does a little more damage. Then go for the wall throw, like this. Back 1, wall throw. Get a little bit extra damage. You can just run up with the ISW and just do it like that, like this. But it doesn't do quite as much damage. And you can also, like I said, do the back 3. And I wanted to show that on purpose. And people might not know this. When you carry him to the wall, you don't have to do. I think the wall throw is actually described as forward, 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 2+4. You can either do that, or you can do the giant swing 1. I think you can also do giant swing 2. When they're in the air and on the wall, it automatically transitions to that wall throw. So that's something to keep in mind. And also, I wanted to show a true wall carry with him, where you can do a ground throw with him, something like this. I gotta switch partners in the air. Sorry about that. Something like that you can do. I screwed up a little bit, but you can do something like that. Let me see if I can show you an actual true one here. Let's see. I want to bind him with king. Bind him with king. Like that. You can do a ground throw like that. And if you're going to go for a ground throw, you're going to do a single jab and then down back 1+3, down back 2+4. That's his ground throws. So carry him to the wall splat him at the wall. and you want to get a single jab in. It's usually you're going to do a 1-2 jab, then followed by another jab, then do the ground throw. Let me see if I can do that again. I don't remember who I started it with. There's the 2 jabs. You basically want to make sure he's kind of sliding down the wall still. Yes, yeah, I'm going to have to shorten it and just do 1 jab. Like that. Okay, so experiment with that a little bit, but generally knock him up into the wall. You're going to do a single jab to like have him drag down the wall, and then you just do a free ground throw. Keep in mind the ground throw can be broken, but that does a little more damage than just the regular wall throw, and it's a little different option. Okay, what I'm going to talk about in this section is King's tag fillers and his tag combos with Miguel, since that's one of my main teams. I'm doing this basically because I had a few people ask me in my Miguel tutorial when I was asking for suggestions or comments. Basically said I didn't really talk a whole lot or show much of this, so I wanted to spend a couple minutes just talking about King's fillers and some tag combos. Basically what I found with him and what I use are pretty much 4 fills, which are 2 of them are 2 hits and the other 2 are 3 hits, and they are 1 + 2 1. That's the one I use more than anything. Probably 90% of all the combos I do with King and Miguel, I use that one when King's coming in. Just real consistent. 1 + 2 3, slightly higher damage. I only use this up against the wall because it has a funky hitbox and it's a little slower, and sometimes it'll whiff. Forward 2-2-2 is another one, and forward 2-2-1. Those are pretty much his 4 best fillers that I use, and like I said, I use this one probably 95% of the time. So what I'm going to do is show a few combos with Miguel starting it, King starting it, some assisting early, some assisting later in the combo. Some full wall carry, some binding before the wall, so on and so forth. A lot of these combos I don't use, I just want to show, so I'll probably screw up on a few, but at least it'll give you guys some ideas of what you can do with them as a team combo wise. So here are a few combos. You can also do, let's see, let me think here. Something like that. Time. Something like that. There's a few examples what they can do together with Miguel starting. Here's a couple examples with King starting it. It'll pretty much look pretty similar. What was I doing? Oh, this one. Okay. They're all pretty much the same for the most part. So I'll just show the ender. Something like that. So those are kind of some basic combo ideas. So I hope that's helpful for people who are curious. Alright, the last thing I'm going to do is with King is show some of his Oki options. He's not real great in this department, but it's not bad because he has the ground throws. But here are some options to think about. This what I'm going to show first is probably best for when you you do a ISW ender. You just got to time them getting up, and hopefully I can time it right. The best pick-me-up for when they back roll are forward +3 or down forward 4 +3. And let me try to show that here. Let me start over. Okay. They'll back roll. You get them in a full combo with that. Outside of the launch. You can also do a forward +3 like I said. Let me see if I can show that to you. Okay, forward +3, same situation. Except you can't do, if I'm not mistaken, you can't do a full combo out of that. Let me see. I usually do down forward 4 +3. I whiffed it. Let me try one more time. See if we can't time it. Let's see. No, see, that's what I thought. It would push it back. So you got to modify that. Something with an alley kick. Let me show you. Something with an alley kick. You have to modify something like that. You don't get as much. So generally, the best pick me up is down forward 4 +3, because you do get that full combo like I showed. And I'll see if I can't show you one more time. And there you go. Okay, so what else? When he's on the ground, generally you're going to be ground throwing them. Let me see if I can set this up here. Let's see, side roll. Let's see if they do the right thing here. What I'm looking for them to do. Okay, yeah. Well, if they side roll either way, you can ground throw them. Let's see. I'm not sure if they'll automatically side roll after the ISW. Let's see. Yeah. So if they side roll either way, the ground throws will catch them. So that's a good option. Really, anytime they're going to side roll or they're going to just sit on the ground. Let's see what else. If they just lay there, let's see if I can just. Let's see. I don't know if they have that option. I'm just going to set it here because I'm just going to talk about it. If they just lay there, you're going to do an up forward +3. That's an option. Or, like I said, if they lay there, the ground throw is always a good option. I usually will use an up forward +3 if I think they're going to do a low wake up kick. That'll go over it. But generally, for him, you can also do things like if they side roll, depending on what way, down back 3 will hit them, and so will full crouch down forward +1. But generally, you want to keep in mind these couple of things. If they back roll, you're going to look to hit them with either a forward +3 or a down forward 4-3 for a combo. If they lay there, you can either do up forward +3. You can also do a crouch dash 1 +2, which isn't a bad option, which is that. That's not a bad Oki option you can do. But if they lay there, generally you're going to hit up forward +3, or you can do a ground throw. If they side roll either way, you can hit them with a ground throw, which is down back 1 +3 or down back 2 +4. So that's King's basic game. I hit a lot of stuff. I'm sure I left out some stuff because I would just basically ran through everything. But again, I'm hoping this helps out some people. I know it wasn't a perfect tutorial, but it covered a lot of stuff and really the important basics with King. So if you enjoyed it, liked it, didn't like it, let me know. I'm just hoping this helps out a few Kings players. So enjoy, happy gaming, and I'll see you guys on the battlefield.